Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've been feeling like AI is incredibly useful right now, but it still fundamentally requires you to do all the driving, well, you really need to pay close attention today. We are unpacking a massive tectonic shift in how we're all going to interact with our computers by 2026. We're moving out of the era of chatbots and right into the era of digital employees, and honestly, Microsoft has just fired the starting gun. This isn't just some standard software update, it is a fundamental rewiring of what it actually means to sit in front of a keyboard. So let's get right into it and map out exactly how this autonomous AI revolution is unfolding.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Imagine this for a second. What if your computer actually just did the work before you even had to ask? I mean, for the last few years, we've basically lived in a prompt-based world, right? You type a command, the AI spits out a response, and then you have to evaluate it. But that still demands your mental load. It requires you to know exactly what to ask, the right parameters to give it, and how to stitch all those various results together into an actual workflow. It's essentially like delegating tasks to a very literal intern. The technology we're looking at today, it flips that entire dynamic on its head. The mental load of the modern professional is about to change forever.
And that brings us to the massive announcement out of Microsoft Build. Meet Microsoft Autopilot Scout. Now listen, this isn't just some tiny, iterative update to Copilot. It's an entirely new category altogether. Scout is Microsoft's very first always-on autonomous agent. Just imagine having a tireless digital proxy that doesn't just sit there waiting in a sidebar for you to prompt it. It actually lives natively in your system, constantly watching, learning, and executing tasks completely on its own initiative. It operates with such a level of independence that it transforms from a mere tool into a proactive team member, just working away in the background.
The stark contrast between the past and the present is literally everything here. On one hand, we have the Copilot model, right? User prompts, then the AI acts. You are the manager, micromanaging every single digital action. If you don't prompt it, absolutely nothing happens. But on the other hand, we have this new Autopilot model. AI observes, and then AI acts. The AI literally takes the wheel. It's kind of like the difference between having a research assistant who only answers your direct questions versus having a proactive chief of staff who hands you a totally finished briefing document before you even realized a meeting was put on your calendar. You're moving from micromanaging individual tasks to macro-managing entire outcomes.
So, what's actually under the hood here? The underlying engine driving this massive shift is known as agentic AI. These are autonomous systems specifically designed to operate continuously in the background without needing your permission for every little step. They maintain this massive contextual memory of your work style, they observe your user context, and they execute incredibly complex multi-step actions totally unprompted. This officially kills the traditional chat interface. You are no longer conversing with a machine to get things done, you're coexisting with a digital entity while it handles all the operational busywork. This is, for sure, the holy grail of automation finally realized for knowledge workers.
To truly understand how powerful this is, we have to look at where Scout actually lives and breathes. It is deeply, natively embedded right into the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. It monitors your activity across Teams, Outlook, OneDrive, and SharePoint simultaneously. And here is why that matters so much. This isn't some clunky third-party app trying to guess your actions by scraping your screen. It is natively wired straight into the central nervous system of your corporate data. It securely reads your chats, your emails, and your files in real time, giving it this unparalleled context to make incredibly accurate autonomous decisions on your behalf.
Let's look at a quick day-in-the-life scenario to see this workflow in action because it's mind-blowing. Imagine you're still grabbing your morning coffee, and an email chain comes in about a massive project delay. Scout reads that context instantly. It realizes this impacts a key milestone, so it autonomously flags the deadline in your system. Without a single keyboard tap from you, it checks the availability of all the key stakeholders and actually schedules a crisis meeting. And finally, it drafts and sends a pre-read document summarizing the delay to all the attendees. All of this happens flawlessly in the background. Your entire morning crisis has basically been managed before you even log on.
But let's zoom out a bit to the macro ripple effect here, because the big tech players are realizing that owning the agent means owning the entire future of work. Consider this staggering number, $60 billion. That's 60 billion with a B. That is a reported option SpaceX secured to acquire the AI coding platform Cursor. Now, you might be wondering, why would Elon Musk's companies want a coding editor? Well, because Cursor isn't just an editor anymore, it's an agent management console. If you want to capture the workflows of tomorrow, you absolutely have to own the environment where the highest leverage work is happening today.
There's a brutal multi-billion-dollar war happening right now for developer and enterprise mindshare. I mean, Cursor's pushing cloud handoff and agent orchestration. Then you've got Anthropic's Claude Code deploying its Opus 4.7 model with autonomous security scanning that actually goes in and patches vulnerabilities on its own. Meanwhile, xAI is rolling out Grok Web Connectors with Model Context Protocol, which basically means it plugs directly into massive enterprise systems like SharePoint and Outlook. These companies aren't just building developer tools anymore. They're sprinting to create massive, cross-functional enterprise automation platforms. The ultimate prize? Becoming the absolute operating system for agentic AI.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Letting an autonomous AI run totally loose in your corporate network, that's a terrifying security nightmare. What if it gets confused and, I don't know, emails confidential financial data to the wrong client? To solve this, Microsoft developed MXC, which stands for Microsoft Execution Containers. Think of this as an impenetrable sandbox for the AI. It's an OS-enforced layer that acts as an absolute hard boundary. The agent can read files, write emails, and run code, but strictly within the secure, predefined walls the company explicitly sets up. It ensures the AI has tons of power, but absolutely zero unauthorized reach.
But here's the catch. Software boundaries just aren't enough. You need hardware capable of running these massive models locally so that sensitive data never even leaves your device. This necessity has triggered a complete revolution in edge silicon. Take the newly released Surface Laptop Ultra, which is powered by NVIDIA's RTX Spark Superchip. When you couple that with NVIDIA's OpenShell runtime, this setup filters and sanitizes sensitive data entirely on device. It allows incredibly complex agentic workflows to run completely privately on your laptop without ever pinging a cloud server. It's literally enterprise-grade security meeting autonomous power, right there on your desk.
And hey, Apple is absolutely not sitting this one out. It's fascinating to see how they're responding. At WWDC 2026, we saw Apple mirror this exact trend with the evolution of Siri. Siri is no longer just a voice assistant you ask for the weather, it is a full-blown system orchestrator. With on-screen awareness, Siri literally sees what you're looking at. It crawls local files, emails, and photos to map context system-wide. You can tell Siri to find an email from a colleague, extract a specific recipe, and add those exact ingredients to your shopping list, and it executes those complex sequences across multiple apps seamlessly. It's a real game changer.
To power all of this intelligence, from Scout's enterprise mastery to Siri's consumer orchestration, right down to Cursor's developer prowess, well, it requires capital on a scale that is almost difficult to comprehend. Check out this staggering number, $84.75 billion. That is the equity capital raise actually proposed by Alphabet specifically to expand its AI infrastructure and compute power. We are literally witnessing the largest and fastest mobilization of capital in human history, and it's all being aggressively directed at building the digital brains and physical data centers behind these agents.
To put this true infrastructure megaboom into a bit of perspective for you, Alphabet is proposing that staggering $84.75 billion raise. Microsoft, they're committing $18 billion to AI infrastructure in Australia alone. And IBM is pushing $10 billion into quantum computing, specifically targeting their fault-tolerant quantum Starling by 2029. So why does this matter to you? Because the sheer volume of money required to build the foundational architecture for an agent-driven world is actively reshaping global tech economies. This isn't just a software trend anymore. It's a physical rebuilding of the internet's back end just to support autonomous workers.
So, let's bring the focus right back down to you, the individual user. What does all of this hardware, this capital, and this crazy software actually mean for your daily life? Well, it leads directly to the concept of the one-person company. One single individual can now sit at the center of a massive operational web, wielding the leverage of an entire digital team. By architecting scheduled tasks for these agents, you can receive competitor reports, business reviews, and schedule management completely automatically. It fundamentally eliminates that traditional bottleneck of needing to endlessly hire more people for operational busywork. You are the CEO, and these agents are your workforce.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly vital question to ponder. In a world where AI is no longer just a chatbot assistant, but actually acts as your entire operations, coding, and scheduling team, what becomes your unique value? As systems like Microsoft Scout take over the sheer execution of work, human value permanently shifts from doing the tasks to directing the strategy and ensuring the vision. It's a fascinating, slightly intimidating new era, right?
Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to start exploring how you can build out your own agentic workflows today. See you next time.